The Hornets take on the Nets, 4 o'clock Eastern start time. Brooklyn's minus 9.5, totals 232. We're 6-0 in our last 6 NFL tier package picks on BrockPage.com. And the good news is we have 3 more premium NFL tier package picks going off here today on a Sunday. We're also 4-0 in our last 4 extra daily picks on BrockPage.com as well. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We currently have over 905 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on this channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website. And once again, that's BrockPage.com. But despite a nice victory over Philadelphia in their last ball game, the Nets are struggling on the defensive end of the court through 2 ball games. They're allowing 118 points per contest, and they're letting their opponents make nearly 39% of their three-pointers. Brooklyn's also dead last in the NBA in first quarter points allowed. They're taking on a 2-0 Charlotte club who's in the top 5 in scoring on average per game. LaMelo Ball is scoring 24 points a night, 6 rebounds, 3.5 steals for Melo. Meanwhile, Gordon Hayward is averaging 22.5 points a game, along with 6 assists as well. The Hornets are making over 41% of their three-pointers as a team. They're also in the top 10 in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Charlotte's 2-0 to the over thus far in the season. They're also 6-1 to the over in their last 7 contests against Eastern Conference opponents. Of course, that's a historical trend that dates back to last season. I'm going to lean toward Charlotte plus 9.5 and the over 232. Next game, Magic Knicks, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The New York Knicks are minus 12, totals 214.5. The 2-0 Knicks are averaging 130 points a game. They're currently the league leaders in scoring on average per contest. They're also making nearly 50% of their field goals. Julius Randle scoring 28 points a game, 9 rebounds, 8 assists for Randle. Meanwhile, Evan Fournier scoring 25 points a game along with 4 boards. New York's currently in the top 3 in fourth quarter scoring. They're taking on a Magic team who's in the bottom 3 in the league in points allowed. They're the 0-2 Magic, they're allowing 122 points per contest. They're also letting their opponents make over 44% of their three-point shots. Moore, Carter Williams, Harris, and Okike, they're all questionable for today's action. Now, total-wise, both teams are 2-0 to the over on the year, respectively. I'm going to lean toward the New York Knicks minus 12 and the over 214 and a hook. Next game, Sixers, Thunder, 7 o'clock East. The Philadelphia 76ers are minus 7.5, totals 216. The Sixers are leading the league in three-point shooting. Philly's making nearly 45% of their three-pointers. Tobias Harris is averaging 21.5 points a night, 9 rebounds, 3 assists for Toby. Harris is also draining 50% of his 3 balls. Joel Embiid's also averaging 20.5 points a game himself, 7 rebounds, 2.5 blocks a game for the process. The Sixers are making over 49% of their field goals as well. Now, keep an eye on Embiid and Milton. Both are listed as questionable. Drummond is doubtful. But regardless, they're taking on a winless Thunder team who failed to cover the point spread in both of their losses. OKC's averaging only 88 points a game. They're dead last in offensive field goal percentage. OKC's making just 37% of their field goals. And even worse than that, the Thunder's drilling only 26% of their three-pointers. Now, rebounding-wise, OKC's in the bottom 3 in defensive rebounding as well. When it comes to the total in this one, I'm not sure the Thunder's going to be able to score enough to help put this one over. Besides, both teams are 2-0 to the under thus far in this season, respectively. I'm going to lean toward Philadelphia minus 7.5 and the under 216. Next game, Celtics, Rockets, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Boston is minus 5.5, totals 222 and a hook. The 0-2 Celtics are making just 40% of their field goals. and they failed to cover the number in both of their losses on the season. Jaylen Brown's questionable for this evening's contest. Meanwhile, defensively, Boston is dead last in defensive rebounding. They allow more points per contest on average than any other team in the NBA. They're taking on a Rockets club who's done a fairly nice job of scoring, believe it or not. Houston's averaging 115 points a night, and they're making nearly 40% of their three-pointers. Christian Wood's averaging 23.5 points a game, along with nearly a dozen boards. Wood's also making 50% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Eric Gordon's averaging almost 19 points a game himself, and he's made 70% of his three-pointers himself. Now, defensively, Houston's in the top 10 in defensive rebounding. I'm going to lean toward the Houston Rockets plus 5.5 in the over 222 and a hook. Next contest, Warriors-Kings, 9 o'clock Eastern start time. Golden State's minus 3.5, totals 234. Now, both teams have seen their season openers fly over the posted number this year. Golden State had a high-scoring affair with the Lakers. Meanwhile, Sacramento and Portland flew 11 points over their posted number themselves. 6 out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head meetings also got over the posted total. Golden State's officially 1-0 to the over on the road for the year. And if you want to see which one of these teams I think is going to cover the point spread, there's only one way to find out, and that's to sign up for my $1.99 daily best play on BrockPage.com. This game's being featured as my $1.99 daily best play. So once again, if you want to see which one of these teams I think is going to cover the number in this one, there's only one way to find out, and that's by signing up for my $1.99 daily best play on BrockPage.com. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean toward the over 234 in that contest. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Grizzlies versus the Lakers, 9:30 p.m. East. The LA Lakers are minus 4.5, totals 224 and a hook. The winless Lakers have failed to cover the point spread in both of their losses. LA is allowing 118 points a game, and they're in the bottom 10 in the league in fourth quarter points allowed. Ariza, none. And Horton Tucker, they're all listed. Actually, they're still out indefinitely. Meanwhile, Ellington and Doumbouya, they're listed as questionable. Now, the Lakers have averaged just 106 points per contest in their last 10 meetings with Memphis. And speaking of the Grizzlies, they're 2-0 thus far in the season, with victories over the likes of the Clippers and Cavaliers. Memphis is scoring 126 points a game, and they're shooting over 89% from the foul line. John Morant's averaging 32.5 a night, 4 boards, 7 assists for Morant. Meanwhile, DeAnthony Melton is scoring 21 points a game along with 5.5 rebounds. Melton's also draining over 57% of his three-pointers. And speaking of three balls, the Grizzlies are in the top 3 in three-point percentage. They're also leading the NBA in second quarter scoring. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, 9 out of these teams' last 10 meetings stayed under the line. And although I'm leaning toward Memphis in this one, just keep in mind they've averaged only 100 points a game in their last 10 meetings with the Lakers. I'm thinking a low-scoring affair here. I'm going to lean toward the Memphis Grizzlies plus 4.5. And the under 224 and a hook. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at BrockPage.com, where we are 6-0 in our last 6 NFL tier package picks. I like Charlotte plus 9.5 over 232. New York Knicks minus 12 over 214 and a hook. I like Philadelphia minus 7.5 under 216. Give me Houston plus 5.5 over 222 and a hook. I'm leaning toward the over 234 in the Golden State Sacramento game. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 6-0 in our last 6 NFL tier package picks on BrockPage.com. We're also 4-0 in our last 4 extra daily picks on that very same page. I'm going to lean toward Memphis plus 4.5 and the under 224 and a hook. With that, guys, now it's time for our shout out of the day. That's going to come from our YouTube platform. And today's shout out of the day, that's going to go to James Friello, who said earlier this morning, 3 Peloton commercials in the first 5 minutes of this video. Well, James, first, I appreciate you taking the time out to watch the video and leave me a comment. And 2, I think that's telling you something. 3 Peloton commercials in the first 5 minutes of the video. I know what you're getting at. Too many commercials, yada, yada. You're awful picky with your free content, but it's telling you something. You might want to think about getting a Peloton. I don't know. But anyway, guys, my friend, Mr. Friella, I appreciate you taking the time to drop me a line in the comment section, and it's nothing but love. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on that website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on brockpage.com, you are going to get access to that content all the way through the end of October. I do always tell folks in every video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Sunday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.